an amazing group all together. But I would like to introduce Kevin and give him the floor, and definitely happy 40th anniversary, Kevin.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, thank you. Well, first of all, I would love to welcome you all, but also thank our four panelists, Brittani, Sarah, Delaney, and Stephanie. I'm sure everybody is looking forward to hearing their story, sharing with us why they and how they have been so successful in these very, very trying times. And thank you guys for agreeing to do that. And Suzanne, just to add to what you just had to say, it's a good mix. I really admire what everybody has done this year and through all the hardships we all had to go through. But this is a mix, and we specifically picked a mix of people that have done excellent in production. But I also would like to thank and acknowledge all the people that they were in positions for family reasons, for health reasons, for whatever, not to be able to be out there continuing to work. I think it's important that we understand and recognize that everybody has their own situation, and I admire the people that had to stay under lock and key for the past 12, 14 weeks. We all have different circumstances, and some of us were able to be out there and working and producing. Others, it was most important that to stay at home, stay separated, and do their distant drinking, if they were drinking. I had to laugh at I saw someone today and they said they were wearing a mask at home. It wasn't because of the coronavirus. They were just trying to stop themselves from eating. which was probably a little problem with everybody that's too close to the refrigerator over this period of time. I'd like to start out with just a little info about our four panelists, and just pick this up as it falls. We have Delaney Bailey, as I said, Sarah Keddie, and Brittani Chafin, and Stephanie Hiner. I'll start with a little bit of information on Delaney. Delaney, she's been licensed since 2013. She had a production increase this year of 24%, which is huge. She has, which I'll be very interested to hear about. She has 3 listings closing this week. Listings have been a challenge for everybody this year. The contracts have been very close to what they were this time last year, but the listings have definitely been way down, and for so many reasons. But that's Delaney. We'll hear from Delaney in a few minutes. We have Brittani Chafin, who is in the downtown office, and Brittany's production is 26% so far this year, and she has some good stories to tell. Stephanie Hiner. Brittany has been licensed, and I did not write it down.
Since 2014.
Yeah, that's right. Stephanie has been licensed since 2017. She has a double-digit production increase, 2.7 million so far, and she has 4 under contract for 1.4. So that's really nice. And by the way, Stephanie, I'd like you to address a little bit later on about, because I know you, when you started in real estate, when you first got your license, that you were trying to work into real estate with your dual career. I'm not sure if you were a dental hygienist, but I knew you were working in a dental office. And you made a very, very nice transition and been doing really well this year. So that I'd like to hear a little bit for some people that have been trying to do that, they work in a dual career while they're getting enough in the pipeline to be able to go full-time real estate. And I think you've done that very, very well. So it'd be interesting to hear a little bit about how you did that, and especially how well you did this year. And then we have Sarah Keddie. Sarah, um, it took us a long time to pry Sarah away from the teaching career. I think it was like 3 years, maybe. And Sarah's having a gangbuster year. Her business is up just shy of 31% this year. She has, with what she has under contract, she's already right on the cusp of Emerald Club, which is 10 million in production. So she's 7.3 million completed with 2 million under contract. So unbelievable year. With all the handicaps that you've got, having four boys at home, especially the big boy, keeping Ben in his place. Very interesting to hear how you've done this. It's been fantastic. So without further ado, I will find my few questions here, and I will. I'd like to just go down the line on all four of you first, and just ask what was the biggest when things started to get a little crazy. I guess February, end of February, and from then on, what was the greatest challenge for each one of you? Not necessarily talking about clients, but just getting into mode for actually going to work, getting things done. What maybe some things you had to handle at home. How did you get to where, or what was the mindset to face the challenge that each one of you, I'm sure, had just starting out? So, Sarah, you ready to kick it off?
Sure. I think just like everybody else felt, those first 2 weeks were scary. Ben and I had a lot of coming to Jesus talks of, the economy's crashing, everything's going to be terrible. And we're very, very scared. We try to figure out how to best handle the kids. And shortly after, we had our very scary talks, the office shut down, which made it a little bit more helpful for him to be here and me to man the kids. I had to time manage in a way where we had to put away messages on my email saying, just like everybody else, we're dealing with home and school life. And so until 12 every day, I focused solely on the kids and solely did the schoolwork with the kids. And as soon as 12 o'clock hit, then it was my turn to start work. But I had to prioritize my day that way to best keep my mind in what I needed to do. I couldn't do both at once. I found myself yelling at my kids or half working and listening to the kids. So that worked best for us. As those 2 weeks got a little bit more sure, based off of, our numerous Zoom calls with work and with updates from Matthew of what was going on just in our industry as a whole, and updates just from the community of what was going on with the courthouses, I felt like it was better for me than to take that information as soon as we got off Zoom calls and lenders were giving updates and Matthew was giving updates. I would take all that information, craft it into an email, and sent it straight out to my sphere of influence, even if they were clients at the time or were not clients at the time. But I felt that knowing what was going on in real estate helped us understand what was going on in the economy and helped people feel a little bit more secure of what was going on. So that's kind of, it helped me function and feel a little bit more on top of everything and have a little bit better grasp of, such an unsure time in everybody's lives. And that works best for us.
Super. Thank you. Brittani, would you like to address that same? What challenges did you have?
So for me, it was actually kind of the opposite. So I'm more of a homebody anyway, so that aspect didn't really affect me at all. So I kind of took it as business as usual. Like working from home is normal. I go into the office maybe like once or twice a week anyway. So there was no real change there for me on a personal note. It was more so having to figure out how to actually manage my time better because I'm not going into the office. So for me, it actually helped me get a little more structured with time management. Um, as far as, I have to agree with Sarah though, you know, the biggest thing or the biggest challenge I think was helping clients deal with their anxiety. Like, how do listings now show? Is it safe to do that? How do we like manage that? The same with buyers, you know, are we still going out to see houses? Is it safe to do that? And really like CVE being on top of everything, and having Matthew, you know, just to piggyback off of what Sarah said, like having him really be on top of the ball with everything helped me so much in my business, help ease the anxiety of my clients. And then that I think was just kind of tantamount to, you know, pivoting my business in the beginning. So, but yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Who next would like to answer that question? Stephanie, you there?
Yeah.
Not there. You are. You weren't on my screen. So
I'm-
Stephanie,
My biggest challenge was kind of what you touched on earlier. I was dual career the first 3 years. So I haven't even hit 3 years yet. The entire time I was licensed. And it got to a point, I kind of took a break from real estate last year. My grandmother was ill. So I kind of took time off from that and focused on the job I had and my kids, and realized that the job I had was stressing me so bad that at home life was not good. And my passion was real estate. So I decided in December that I was going to quit. And I was actually with another firm, another brokerage, and I wasn't completely happy. So I had two things going against me. I was going to leave my full-time job I'd been at 12 years and switch brokerages again in the middle of like 6 transactions I had going. But I think at that point I had a mindset of I'm either going all in or I'm going to give it up completely. I didn't want to go back and forth anymore. So I came back to Coldwell Banker in March, right before everything really got crazy. And at that point I realized I had to chase my dreams no matter what was going on around me. I just had to push forward, and I had things in my pipeline that clients I had been talking to that were considering doing things this year. And when everything hit, they were like, what do we do? Should we sell our house? Should we still look for a house? And I just encouraged clients, it was whatever they were comfortable with. And we would take whatever precautions were advised from the company. And I just kept moving forward, and I've just kept doing it ever since. Just letting everyone know that I am doing real estate full time now, asking for referrals, and working as hard as I possibly can. Got lucky kind of in a way. My husband got furloughed and has been furloughed for the past 11 weeks. So that has been our saving grace at home, because there's no way I could be doing the amount of business I'm doing right now without him home and having 3 kids. So just kind of hustling hard, and I've tried to be on every training I possibly can with Coldwell Banker and take as much as I can from it and apply it.
Stephanie, I would not be worthy of the name owner broker if I did not ask the question. The timing of you, I know it was a tough time to make a switch, but the timing of you coming back to Coldwell Banker with the tools and everything we have, and I really don't know what you left behind. But was there I know there was a disadvantage of the timing, but was there an advantage in the tools and what have you that we have to offer at Coldwell Banker?
Absolutely. And that was one of the big reasons I came back. I was missing all of the tools I had, all of the training, all of the education, all of the support. I truly feel, I know if I had stayed where I was, I would not be where I am right now and where I am today. There's absolutely no way I could have done it with the brokerage I was at. There was no additional training. There was no one-on-one, where now I know I have Robin as my managing broker, and Deb and tons of others I can reach out to at any time, including agents, and get the support that I need or questions answered. And I've told everyone I will never leave Coldwell Banker again, and it was a dumb decision, but you live and learn. The tools that Coldwell Banker provides, and the training it's untouched and unmatched to any other brokerage in the area.
Thank you for the answer, and I really appreciate it. And I want everybody to know that it was not a setup question. So I appreciate the answer. I took a chance there. You could have said, first mistake I ever made in my life. But thank you. Delaney, I can't see you, but are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, there you go. Would you like to address the challenges that you faced at the start?
Yes, I would say that one of my biggest challenges when everything kind of started happening was sixth grade math, and I didn't do well the first time, and I didn't go well with it the second go around. It's tough when you don't even know what to ask Google to help you with. Like, you don't even know what you don't know. So that was not real estate related, but it was a challenge because the homeschool thing was tough in the beginning.
Oh, you're talking about homeschool. I thought we were talking that your challenge started in the sixth grade with sixth grade math.
We took it way back, Kevin. We didn't know how you wanted me to answer. So, no, my daughter is in sixth grade. Sorry, should have prefaced with that. Sorry. My daughter is in sixth grade, so that was a challenge. We have more than one computer in our house, but of course she wants to use the fast computer. So that was tough. So, you know, kind of like Sarah said, like making sure you were like setting up time for getting what you need to get done or getting Bree started, because the motivation that a 12-year-old has now is lacking. So that was tough, is kind of like putting time aside, because she couldn't really do, you know, she needed direction as far as to where to go, and she had questions. So it was frustrating for me to be on the other side of the kitchen table and she's asking questions and I'm like, what? You know, and you can't really, that time kind of needs to be divided, I think, because if you're halfway into this and halfway into that, you're not giving either one 100%. So it was kind of just like putting some time to go, okay, this is my time with her. This is my time with real estate.
Awesome. That's great. Sarah, I'll get back to you on the next question. How did you handle, and I know you all probably very similar on this, but how did you handle the safety precautions in showing properties, or for that matter, we'll bundle it together, showing properties or going to somebody's house to list, to first meeting, list on listing?
Sure. At the beginning, like I told you, I was emailing people and just keeping people updated. And I was very nervous to go into people's homes as they were to have me come in. So one home that actually just went under contract, we started with virtual listing appointment only. I did a walkthrough through her house for virtual listing. I helped her staged it through virtual. We did everything, paperwork and everything virtual. And as things, I kept assuring her that if you're not ready yet, we always can push this date. These dates can always be amended. Don't, you know, as things come up, because we all simply just didn't know from one day to the next what it was going to look like. So that ended up, the first time I actually saw the house in person was, gosh, I started talking to her right at the beginning of March, and I saw the house in person 2 weeks ago for the pictures. We were masked, we were gloved. We did the pictures, got it on the market, and then everything in the guidelines or in the showing instructions where people had to follow CDC guidelines, I suggested that she do a 24-hour notice so that she could be there to turn on all the lights and open up all the doors. Talk to the agents before they, before they actually toured it, and explain to them that everything's on, leave it opened. And they had to follow all the guidelines to see it, and it was just a requirement. I also never, ever told anybody that I knew 100% that it was going to be okay. I didn't know. I was never going to pretend that I knew, but this is the best that we got. and this is what we'll do. On the flip side, for the buyers, well, and to kind of take that a step further, I have a client right now who's showing her home, and she's a physician, and she's afraid for what she's bringing. She's using every precaution at work. She's afraid for what people are bringing. She can't risk to get sick. And so, and actually I showed it with Stephanie. She wants them masked and gloved and me there to be sure that they're doing that. And that's, you know, just what we have to do. But on the buyer side, I don't have a lot of buyer clients, but what I'm finding is that I'm telling them to be masked, be gloved, use all the CDC precautions that we already know. And one of my clients actually put a house under contract completely sight unseen, was not going, she did everything virtual tour. We were one of 10 contracts, which is insane to me that 9 other people were gonna buy almost a $600,000 house, and they weren't gonna see it till the day they moved in. They weren't allowed to be there for the home inspection. But everybody seemed to, I feel like everybody was very understanding for whatever needed to be done, and they were willing to do whatever we suggested to do if they wanted to sell or if they wanted to buy. So it's been a hurdle, but I think we're all in it together. And so everybody was doing what they needed to do to get the job done.
Great. Brittany, would you like to address that same?
Yeah, sure. So it's really similar actually to Sarah's. For listing appointments, I've always done like a 2-part. So the main portion of the listing presentation or consultation, Deb, was to actually do it virtually via Zoom, you know, because it's the easiest way to kind of share documents and screen share and everything. The first, I still tried to, and this is more so after the initial like scare for COVID. I did the walkthrough, like a quick 15-minute. I would assure them that I wouldn't touch anything. They're going to guide me through the house, open all the doors. I'm going to wear gloves and a mask the whole time and stay 6 feet apart. I would also try to ensure to them that I don't have any symptoms, that I, you know, haven't been exposed to anybody with a confirmed case of coronavirus and everything. For showings, I leave it up to the client what they're comfortable with. I had one client that didn't want to do any kind of showings at all. It was completely virtual. We weren't getting any showings that way though, because I think a lot of people, even after everything, wanted to actually see the house. Which surprises me, Sarah, that you got like, you know, multiple offers, like you said, sight unseen, because every buyer that I come in contact with, they're like, no, we need to see the house still. So they, this particular client, they relented after a while, and they were okay with just having the agent and one other person in the property at a time. So I suggest that to other people. And then after the fact, like after we actually go under contract, and they also wanted me to restrict to people who were serious buyers who had a pre-approval, nobody that's just like, you know, coming to see the house and they're not really serious, to kind of curb, you know, just any and everybody coming through. This particular client was also a firefighter, so he was also concerned about people being exposed, much like Sarah's client. So more so exposed to him than the other way around. So, you know, just doing kind of similar things where they turn on all the lights, you know, they open all the doors. I ask people not to touch anything or touch things as minimal as possible, to wear a mask and gloves, to use the hand sanitizer that was there if they wanted to use it, if they don't have gloves and whatnot, removing their shoes before they walk in, just really any and everything to protect the people coming in, and also my clients that live there. I also did what Sarah did, where in the listing presentation, I say this is a risk. You know, I can't guarantee your safety. You're letting people into your house that could very well be infected. And with the, you know, incubation period being 14 days, they could be infected without showing any signs, you know. So, you know, it's all a risk. And I disclose all of this to them. I had them sign the documents that Matthew had sent out, and just kind of trudge forward with business as much as as usual as you can, you know, in this situation. But yeah, buyers, my buyers, honestly, they didn't really seem to care as much as the sellers did. My buyers were very like nonchalant about it. I don't know if that's just because of the clientele I attract, or, you know, the people that I was working with, but they were completely fine with still seeing properties, just wearing a mask, staying 6 feet apart, and doing anything that's required of them, really. So.
Thank you. Delaney, did you have challenges there with showing listing?
Yeah, I think that kind of just going back to, you know, knowing your client, knowing where they're at, how comfortable are they? There were some that were just kind of really wanting to put things on hold. And then there were some that were like, meh, whatever. And all I could do was, again, disclose. And with my sellers, using tools like Zoom, like doing the listing appointment. We've had listing appointments completely virtually. And it's really on all like how comfortable they feel. And you just kind of go with their vibe. And if they're one of those that are more nonchalant, still make sure they're following the rules. For example, if they're a buyer, like, let's still you're in someone's home. Let's still be respectful. I would carry around my Lysol wipes with me and my gloves and all the things. And I would just be like, hey, I will open up all the doors for you that aren't open. I'll open up cabinets. I'll open up pantries, whatever you'd like me to open up. And then I would just give them a Lysol wipe anyway, because, you know, it's just human nature. They're looking at a house. They're going to do it anyway. So if they didn't wear gloves, which for a while gloves had sold out everywhere. So it was pretty much just like Lysol wipes were big, and masks, of course. But it was really all on their comfortability level. I made sure I had conversations with the listing agent if I was on the buyer side. And, you know, a lot of times they would say, hey, we left all the lights on, we left all the doors open, and that kind of thing. But I think it's just having the conversations with your clients as well as the agent on the other side was really important.
Getting them ready for. Stephanie, you have some to add to this on, especially that you have 3 listings going to settlement this week. Could fill us in a little bit on how you handle them.
I did a lot of virtual tours for buyers where I would go to the house alone, gloved up, masked. There were a couple that absolutely wanted to be there, which was fine. We followed the standard protocol for everything, but I found myself doing a lot more virtual, and multiple times on some of them where one party couldn't be on, so I would go back and do another. But I just made sure I had open communication with the listing agents too on any concerns that their seller may have, or, you know, if there wasn't a video tour posted, did they have one and for some reason it wasn't uploaded? And then as well on my listings, I was making sure I was having photos and video walkthrough and everything available. And I think that's been the biggest help, is everyone kind of switching to more of a virtual playing field. So,
yeah. You know, I think it's very interesting that, you know, we've been hearing for so long that the whole virtual real estate will pretty much do away with the need for real estate agents. I think this past 4 months has really brought it home that a good agent is worth the weight in gold, and people that are out there doing it right, you know, at any time. But I think it's more obvious after we've gone through this that a good agent that knows how to handle clients and customers with listings and with contracts. It'll be a long. I think I will be long gone from the business before that part of it changes. I think the personal touch and the confidence in a good agent is so important. I would like to deviate a little bit and ask you. I know you all four of you at the start of the year had a business plan, and I'd like to know how you deviated from the plan you had. Did you readjust your business plan because of the circumstances? What are you close to where your plan was? Are you ahead of where your plan was? I'd just be interested in, because I know you all at the start of the year had some lofty goals for the year. I'd like to hear a little bit. I'm sure everybody else would like to hear a little bit about how you approach that and how you handle it. Sarah, you're off again.
Okay. Well, I didn't have
If you're wondering, I'm keeping you in order.
I like that. I like that. So, of course, we always start the year with my husband and I together make business plans. We have this like hot, New Year's Eve date where we make our business plans, and mine is always pretty much the same, but the goal changes. I like the systems that I have in place, right? So when this all took off, again, I told everybody that I had this pause of, oh gosh, what is happening? I don't know what to do. What do I do next? So then honestly, I didn't deviate much from what I'm normally doing. I just finally said, I want to stay consistent. I want to stay relevant. I want to keep them informed to calm not only their nerves, but my nerves that, I'm still talking to them and I'm still talking real estate, letting them know everything's going to be okay. Houses are still selling, buyers are still buying, the interest rates are low. Our industry has changed, but it's actually a booming market. So even though it looks different, we're still doing the same thing, if not more. And guess what? Spring came early. So if you're going to do it, do it. So my business plan hadn't changed, but what I was noticing was all these other companies like restaurants and retail, their business had changed immensely. So they found a way to do it differently. So I decided I was going to kind of do that model, that I'm going to still do the same thing. I'm going to still market online. I'm going to still do social media. I'm going to still email and keep people informed. It's going to be more than I usually have done. It's going to look different. So for example, my Popeyes, my monthly Popeyes, usually right before summer, I'm sending out like ice cream, like little Sweet Frog gift cards to everybody. Like, I hope you have a great summer. So I thought, well, why don't I send masks? So I asked somebody to make me a bunch of masks. Instead of buying the gift card, sent a letter that really didn't have a whole lot to do about real estate, but hey, as much as I was here for real estate, I'm here for your health and safety. I hope you're well. Here's a mask for you and your family to keep in your car. And I can't tell you how many people were like, hey, thanks. Like, thanks for the mask. Everybody needs one stash because we all know we forget them and we have to have them. So I felt like I was doing the same thing. I was being consistent, trying to stay relevant. It just looked a little different. And as far as my goals, where I was at this point last year, I'm far exceeding where I thought I would be. I don't know if I've done anything different to get there. I just feel like I haven't stopped, if that makes any sense. I just kind of kept going.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. Great. All right, Brittani, can you address that?
Yeah, so for me, it's the coronavirus is actually, and the quarantine, not so much the virus, more so the quarantine, has helped me just kind of really like hone in on my business and really structure it more than I had in previous years. That was part of my goal at the beginning of the year anyway. To answer your question, yes, I'm close. I'm not exactly like where I want to be as far as business planning and everything goes. I'm a lot better than I was this time last year, and I think that that's kind of reflected in my numbers and production. But not where I want to be. So for me, I think there's still room for improvement. I don't think that I've done, I'm doing more marketing online than I used to, venturing more into like Google marketing as well as just Facebook marketing and things like that, pushing through HomeSnap, closings and things of that nature. I wish I had thought of doing what Sarah did, because my sister made so many masks and I could have had her make me some to like send to clients. Yeah, that would be like a great idea actually. Or even like give them little hand sanitizers and things. But you know, I haven't been able to do any pop buys, obviously. But I've just tried to kind of more so have personal touches with people, like texting them directly and being like, hey, how are you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. Are you staying healthy? You know?
It's huge.
And yeah, and I think that that's really kind of helped a lot, you know, reaching out through Facebook Messenger even, just trying to stay away from like, on personal touches anyway, the whole real estate thing, and more like the human connection, you know? I think that was, I don't know, it's just like when all this broke, I felt like it was really a time when everybody felt like they were really like coming together for a common goal, you know, to keep each other safe and healthy. And that's, you know, what I wanted to focus on as far as that. But yeah, business wise, I'm close, not quite there, but we're getting there. Yeah.
You know, our business is all about relationships, and
Mhm.
relationships doesn't stop with numbers or doesn't stop with contracts, listings or whatever. I mean, it's all the other things. And that's the side that you build the relationships on. And I think all of you guys have done an excellent job on that. Delaney, would you like to address that question?
Yes. I'll be the first to tell you, my business plan, I need to get my numbers more together. When I talked to Deb last week, she was like, hey, do you know what your numbers are? Like, do you know what you're looking like right now? And I'm like, I don't, it just, things start to snowball. I don't count chickens before they hatch. I just work. And, so I really want, you know, now that we're in June, I really kind of want to see, like, reflect. But I would say that I started the year I'm going to be just more consistent on things. I'm going to be more consistent, and open houses was something that I wanted to focus on. So that got taken away, but I got to make these great contacts in the time that I did spend on saying, hey, I'm going to be very intentional with this. And one of those things was open houses, because I hadn't done that in years past. I just hadn't been as intentional with it. And I was able to make quite a few contacts that kind of turned into clients, and now closed clients. And that was right before all of this. So I would say, I can't tell you, my numbers were a little bit of a surprise even, but it's always do better. Always, you know, do better. And the consistency, I think the other thing that I really focused on the start of the year was handwritten cards and those personal touches. Like Brittany said, when everything started, it was like, I'm just going to check on, you know, it could have been clients from 3 years ago. Well, I saw on Facebook, you know, she's getting ready to like pop any day. Hey girl, how you doing? How's the pregnancy? You know, like, how's everything going? And it's not real estate related. You're just showing that you care, and you know, I genuinely care. So it comes across when you're trying to make those connections with people.
Awesome. Stephanie, I know Sphere of Influence has been a huge source for you, for your business. Would you like to talk a little bit about what your plans were at the start of the year and how things changed?
Oh, did they change? Like I said, I was at a broker before, and I told them what my goal was for this year, and felt pretty defeated really fast when I was told there's no way you can do that after what you did last year. I knew what I was capable of and why my numbers didn't reflect that the year before. That at that time I wasn't willing to share of, you know, I had a grandmother that was deathly ill and I lost her. So I knew going into that, like, that was my first onset of, okay, I knew what number I wanted to do this year to kind of make up for a salary I was very used to, plus a little extra because I knew I'd be having to pay for marketing and everything else. To then fast forward to March when I reached out to Deb and told her I needed to come back home. I sat down with her and Robin and told her what my goal was. And she said, I think you will probably need to adjust that. And here we are. Last month, I adjusted my goal. I've upped it for this year. Business planning wise, I had to revamp everything. I didn't have a business plan last year. I wasn't really working the business. So my biggest thing this year has just been reaching out to clients that I had my very first year of real estate and reaching out to friends, family, everyone I knew, just saying, hey, I'm now doing real estate full time. If you need anything or if anyone you know does. And then like the other lady said, during the whole pandemic, I've just reached out to people and not even just for real estate, but to truly check on my clients of, do you guys need anything? Like, you know, how are the kids doing? Do the kids need anything? And I think kind of too, it was me trying to get out of the house at one point to like get a break. Like, I'll bring you whatever you need. I just need to get out. But yeah, so I'm still working on my business plan. I was actually just talking to Robin yesterday over numbers and different things that I can use to kind of see exactly where I need to be at and what I want to do and how to break everything down.
Stephanie, I want to ask you a question. So how much satisfaction did it give you when you went up against the person that told you you could not achieve your goal this year in a listing contest and beat him out? Could you tell us a little bit about, and I won't put you on the spot, I'll say, tell me a little bit about the tool you use from Coldwell Banker for, again, this, she doesn't know that I know this, but.
I had no idea you knew about this. Because this week, the listing agreement was actually signed today. I took a company lead, someone who had called in, and Eva emailed out, does anyone want a potential listing lead? And I'm like, heck yes, like I want it. I'll go right now. I'm finishing a home inspection. I went and I met with her and she told me she had to speak with one other person. And I kind of guessed who that was
Your former broker. Okay.
My former broker is who she needed to talk to. Awesome. So I'm like, what upper hand do I have right now that I know they cannot touch? Relo. I can get her cash back. And I know they can't put her in the program. So I reached out to Connor. She didn't want to do an FCU because she didn't want to open another account. I'm like, Connor, what can I do? Like, I know we have another program. What is it? This is my upper hand. And I met with her today, and it wasn't just that. She said I was very aggressive, which she appreciated. I wasn't trying to be really aggressive. I was just showing her the tools and all the different things that Coldwell Banker provides, not only to our listings, but to agents for us to be successful. And she was just blown away. So we signed today, and I really want to send a card and say, nice try, maybe next time, but I won't. Give it to myself.
Okay, that was fantastic.
Way to take the high ground.
Yeah, that was super. All right, Matthew, how are we on time, or Suzanne, how are we doing on time? Not too bad.
About 12 minutes before the end of the hour.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I would like to ask a couple of other questions that I have here. You know, it's so funny. I had several questions, but the great answers that you gave to some of the questions covered the additional questions. You know, just that last round when you're talking about, I have one here. What advice would you have for new agents that are starting out? And I don't even want you to answer that. I would like for new agents to go back and just listen to you guys for the past 15, 20 minutes, and the story is all there on how to be successful and how to get your business going, and just plan out and make contacts, build relationships. That's what it's all about. And you guys are all doing an excellent job on that.
Hey, Kevin, can I jump in just a second?
Yeah.
One of the takeaways that I have from this is that, I mean, all of these ladies have very busy you know, home lives and whatnot. They're not just, you know, sometimes I think new agents think, oh, you know, the successful agents work 70 hours a week and, you know, aren't married, don't have kids, don't have fur babies at home that they have to take care of. They're just machines. But I mean, you know, we just happen to have all ladies, you know, here today. They're all juggling, you know, their families and fur babies and, you know, volunteer time and checking on other people and sick relatives, and still manage to be successful. And I mean, I'm getting to know Stephanie more, you know, I know the rest of them a little bit better. And Delaney, I mean, I got to come to your defense here. You know, you were talking about, you know, not exactly sticking to your plan, but I know Delaney's very driven and she's competitive with herself. So when things start to slow down for Delaney, she's just like, I got to put the gas on. You know, she doesn't ever let up. You know, not that she doesn't take a weekend off every now and then, but Delaney is steady and constant. We've had panel meetings this year about agents that decided to take off a couple months and then regretted it, you know, that you can't just totally jump off the train and expect to jump back on and be where you were when you left. So I think, you know, what I hear all these people saying is that it's consistency, it's time blocking. You know, you can have a real estate career and, you know, still manage to stay, you know, in a relationship or, you know, have your kids not hate you. And Sarah, I have to ask, tell us what the ages are for anybody that doesn't know how old your three boys are.
I have an 8, a 6, and a 4. And at the beginning of this, I was telling everybody that my son is trying to pull out teeth to get Fortnite money, and I have one. He brought me one. So, yeah.
During the meeting.
In the meeting, yeah. So 8, 6, and 4. Yeah.
So that's just one of my takeaways. It's
Great. I had a question here that I am absolutely going to change up because I think it'll be more appropriate. And the question was that I'd written down here, what are you doing different now than you did pre-pandemic? I would like to change that to say, because we know what you're doing now, you're doing a great job of it, but I would love to know what you're going to take from this period of the pandemic and how you're going to do things different in the future as we go along. What have you learned during this time about what you can do, how to use technology? Any aspect of that you wanted to jump on is fine with me. But the general question is, how are you going to do things differently in the future because of what you've experienced through the past 4 months? Sarah, you're up.
Great. So, Brittani was saying that she has gotten better at time management and time blocking. And that's been, I mean, I feel like in our careers, that's huge. Or like Suzanne said, you won't have a life. And so I was forced in this situation to spend this amount of time, not that I don't spend time with my kids, but this is kid time, this is work time, this is family time. And that's been beyond helpful. Another thing that I started this year, and this isn't like a plug for transaction coordinator, but my gosh, if I didn't have Laura helping me along on this, there is no way whatsoever. And I really hesitated using her. And this was my new change in my business plan this year, but I will not ever not use her. It's been, I'm not sitting at night doing paperwork. I'm able to sit with my kids and hang out with my kids and do all that. So I learned that when you get busy, you need to ask for help. And that help is, I mean, no matter what the cost, it's a huge help. Even if you're just referring out clients because you just can't get to them and give them the time that they need. But you know, the last thing is that I sat down and I kind of like, I think any agent does this. They have a business plan, but then you get busy and you just don't stick with it. Things get too busy, marketing stops. And that was the only thing when this all started that I had to go back to, like, okay, I need to get back to kind of like square one. What am I supposed to be doing this month? And I'm just going to follow it. And it kind of was amazing that just following what I was doing helped and it worked. So I think just sticking with the plan that I have in place and not trying to get too crazy. When things get crazy, just trust in the plan and trust in the process, and it all ends up working out okay. You just can't panic, because I had a panic 2 weeks, and you can't panic. Get you nowhere, except scared and sad. So, yeah.
All right, I'm going to change up. Stephanie, can you address that?
Yeah, that's tough. I think going forward, I need to time management better. I just talked to Robin about it the other day, and I made myself take a break last week, but kind of like Sarah said, like I find myself now where I'll put the kids to bed and then I'm doing paperwork till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I have clients like, what are you doing up at 1:30? I'm like, oh, that's embarrassing. You're going to start texting me now at 1 o'clock in the morning because you know I'm working. I think that's one thing that I have to focus on this year is kind of how to get everything organized and where I need to be. And I actually told my husband a month and a half ago, I'm getting to a point now where I can't service clients how I want them to be serviced in my business model. So I told him I'm either going to hire a transaction coordinator or find another agent, or he could get licensed. And I would prefer business to him, but I won't team with him. So I've actually been working on getting his license while he's been furloughed for 11 weeks because what else is there to do? But we're very competitive. I think my biggest thing is going to have to be learning to time manage better is what I need to take away from all this, because I've learned through this, if things are shut down like they are, I will work nonstop, 24 hours a day. With breaks here and there. I mean, I have 3 littles that require a lot of attention, but also don't require too much to where I can get caught up working for hours. And then I'm realizing like, oh my gosh, I just neglected my kids for 2 hours. I should probably take a break and go hang out with them. So I think time management will be my biggest takeaway from this. And I think utilizing virtual things more, doing, you know, initial listing presentations virtually, I think is a great idea. Like Brittany said, she's doing.
It's also showing a competence in technology, which people understand. People that don't even know how to use technology understand what a big part it is of everything business today, and doing stuff like that shows your competency in that area, and it just adds to your gravitas when you're going in competing for listings. Super. Delaney, how about you? Going forward, what will you do differently because of your experience over the past 4 months?
I think that, you know, when we go back to the beginning of everything and just really kind of having that sense of the unity and everybody's in this together, and calling and checking on your friends and checking on your clients, and just being more intentional. And again, not because you want business, because you truly care and you want to see if your neighbors are right and you want to see if they need groceries, and just being more intentional, because I'm so guilty of like someone will run past, you know, a thought will run across my mind, and then I don't just like take that time to just text them and be like, hey, what's up? I was just thinking about you. It's just something that I'm going to be more intentional with, and not just my sphere of influence or clients, but I think we have such a wonderful, wonderful company, and it's such a family. Reaching out to your other agents, reach out to your family. I'll just share this with you real quick. And I think I shared it with Suzanne. It was either Suzanne or Deb. And when everything kind of started, and I was kind of like, how do I want to proceed with my business? How am I going to do this? Do I feel safe doing this? And I had shared a story with another agent. I had called her to congratulate. She had reached Diamond Society, and I had saw it, and I was like, go girl. So I called her and just was like, hey, I saw this, congratulations. And was discussing all things COVID with her. And I told her that I had a few buyers and that I was nervous. And like Sarah said, like, we're scared too. Like, you know, it was trying for everyone. And she's so funny. She said, well, if you don't want them, I'll pay a referral fee. And I'm like, go out there, Delaney, and go work, you know, like, go do it. So it was like a little bit of a wake up call when she said that. And she's just the sweetest thing. But that was kind of like a little kick in the butt that I needed in that first like week or two, like go get out there, you know? So, but just keep in touch with your people and love on them.
Brittany, going forward. I didn't get the right order. I didn't miss any with Brittany, yes.
So for me, I think it's a lot of things. Actually, the quarantine has helped, help me restructure my business, but it's also helped me realize how important personal care is in this business as well. I used to get up at like 8 in the morning and rush into working and like work until 1 in the morning and be stressed all the time and never really take time for myself. And I feel like one of the things that this quarantine has done is put a stop to everyone. So like in the initial, happenings and everything going on, it paused everything. So it allowed me to kind of almost reset my entire life outside of like my business too. So like instead of getting up at 8 in the morning now, I get up at 6:30 every day. Like I wake up, I do my morning routine, I, exercise, and then I start my day at 9 in the morning. Like that's when I start working, when I start answering emails and making phone calls and sending texts. And it's like, it's almost like my clients have picked up on that and they automatically reach out to me like at 9. They'll reach out to me earlier too, but like my response isn't usually until after like 8:30. So I go to bed earlier now. I am not as stressed as I was. I take time for myself, and time blocking has really helped with that. Having the business plan in the beginning of the year has also helped with that, because before in previous years, I've never, like, I just kind of shot from the hip when it came to my business. And then I took all these business classes and like the, business planning course and all of that, and kind of got more structured on the business side of things, but also on the financial side, which has helped with the stress level as well. So like, I think the takeaway from all this is just like how much I'm leading my business more as a business, how important it is to take care of myself as well as my clients, and then just kind of what I can do or what I'm capable of that I didn't realize before.
That's fantastic. I think it's so important that you have to survive in this business, because you can be a shooting rocket for so long and then get burned out.
Yeah.
But if you have a balance of family, play, life, if you can make that all work, and what you're talking about, especially the idea of getting started early in the morning, it does not necessarily have to be on real estate, but get started in your life early in the morning. It's such a great help. And jumping back to something Sarah was talking about, which I think is important probably for everybody that's listening in. It's very important to know what your hour in, and we seldom do this, what your hour in the day is worth. And if you only go back even last year and say, how many hours have I worked? How much money did I make? And then you see that you're making X number of dollars per hour. And you realize that whatever it might be, and I pick on something, mowing the yard and doing whatever, unless you really enjoy it and that's part of your recreation, if it's something that's just taking time from you, you got to understand that if you're doing the activities you're supposed to be doing to generate your business, but in the absence of doing that, you're out mowing the lawn or doing honeydew, whatever it might be, and you understand that it's what it's costing you in your business to be away from it, then you get to the idea of farming out certain chores, certain jobs, such as transaction coordinator, whatever it might be, and you totally understand then what it's costing you or the money you're saving or the extra money you're making because you're more productive and you make more per hour than you're paying somebody else to do whatever that task might be. And so listen, we're an hour and 4 minutes into this, and I think this was absolutely fantastic. Each one of
I have
you.
one question, Kevin.
All right. Oh, sorry.
Yep. So far, only one question's come in. And the question is, are the panelists acquiring new clients from their marketing efforts, or has their success been in their sphere of influence or existing clients?
Very good question. All right, Sarah, you're up.
I think it's probably a combination of both. I think a lot more of my clients during the pandemic have come from, are we just talking about the pandemic? Yeah, during COVID time, have come from more like online marketing, seeing what's going on in the market. My sphere of influence, people that I've reached out to, I think really was less than new business in my situation. Now, the people that were new business were people that I knew, but not necessarily people I was contacting directly during that time.
Yeah.
So it was a little combination of both, but I would say mostly new.
Interesting. All right, Brittani, do you want to?
Yeah, so mine has been actually, it's been both, but predominantly from my sphere of influence. People that are repeat business, someone that I helped years ago that now wants to sell or buy again. I'm coming, I think this is because I started in 2014, but I really started my business in 2015. So it's like my 5th year in business. And I think they say, that's when you start to get your repeat people coming back to you. So I've really seen that a lot. And also just people like old friends, people that I've reached out to on Facebook or like I said, through text messaging and stuff like that, that have referred me to other people. And then some have been just completely random people that I've just, met through someone else or through, I guess that would still be kind of considered the sphere though, huh? Or through online marketing and things like that. But yeah, mostly sphere.
How about you, Delaney?
I did make quite a few connections with really trying to do the open houses early on in the year, but kind of following through with those people, making sure that we were having, good contact with everything going on. But I would say the majority is coming from my sphere of influence. Even with everything that has been going on, life goes on. I've had a few that have called me and just life events happen and now they have to sell. So one was a yoga instructor that we are friends on Facebook. And I think I've only taken 3 of her yoga, and that was many years ago. But she knows that I do real estate. I don't shove it down people's throat on social media, but it pops up here and there. They know you want to make sure they know what you do, but that's not all I'm posting. But it makes you, I just post my life and people are like, they like to see my dog and my kids and stuff. And so then it makes you relevant and they think, oh yeah, she does real estate too.
Well, Stephanie, how about you?
Mine has mostly been new and Op City. So a couple from Sphere of Influence and then a couple from Op City, which I'm loving.
Okay. Listen, there's one quick question I need to ask, and because we are an hour and 8 minutes into this, and it's fantastic, but it's been fantastic so far. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, first of all, has any of your sellers been asking for open houses? And secondly, have you done any virtual open houses? And just a quick answer to what's your feeling at this point on open houses? And Sarah, I'll kick you in again.
Sure. My one listing that came live, well, I let everybody know my listings when we were allowed. Like, now we can do it. If you would like to, let me know. The one Immediately wanted an open house. Her house went live on Wednesday. Saturday, we held it open. Same thing, they signed the forms that you all sent out that were required to have them signed. So everybody had to be masked and gloved. And it was successful from that, that's what we're under contract from. On the flip side, another listing that I have, she's a physician and she does not want to have an open house. She doesn't want that many people in the house. I'm letting them gauge. I'm telling them the good, bad, and the ugly, and I'm willing to do it. But we all know what's going on in the world. We're not, everybody's on the same page on that. As far as the one who does not want an open house, she does want a broker's open. She's more interested in something like that. I really don't see what the difference is from an open house to a broker's open with the amount of people in the house, but she felt more comfortable with that option. So
Sarah, did you have the open house?
We did on Saturday. So 3 people walked through, and so it was interesting. It started at 11. Cam Curry held it open. 10 a.m. somebody made an appointment because they didn't want to be a part of the open house. They wanted more private showing. And then they actually came back during the open house. And then that's the couple that wrote the offer that evening. So I think 3 people for an open house because they're just not wildly successful. I don't feel like, unless they're downtown or a more walkable area, or if they're held very uniquely. And I'm not a good uniquely open house holder, I guess. But 3 people I thought was good for the time. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm seeing both. I'm leaving it up to the client, because as part of the listing presentation, that's one of the things, that always comes up. And I give them, no matter if we're in a pandemic or not, the good, bad, and ugly of open houses. And if you want one, I'm happy to do one, but don't expect a whole lot from it. So I say mine are right now 50%. I mean, it is 50%, only 2 people. One wants one wants a broker's open. So
Stephanie, could you address it?
I will, because my client earlier asked me, and I'm not comfortable doing them right now. And it's not due to pandemic. It's due to all the other craziness that's going on, to where if I hold one, I will, but I would like another agent with me. I'm just not so sure of how people are right now with coming straight out of a pandemic to other chaos that's going on. I asked her if she was asking me because she wanted to have one, and she stated at that time she didn't want people just walking through her house. She had a terrible experience before, so she didn't know if I would require to have one. And then I have one other listing where she's asking if I will do one, and we're teetering right now. There's a couple showings scheduled, so I think we're going to reevaluate after we get through those if we don't go under contract. But I mean, I would still do one for a client, but I don't have any of my listings asking for them. I actually have one of my other ones that is kind of hesitant on even having showings right now, but she's doing it because obviously they want to sell. But yeah, I've had 2 clients ask about open house.
Yeah, for anybody listening, I would love to get feedback from success stories on the virtual open houses, because we hear of people doing them, but I'd like to hear the results to see if that's something that we should all be really emphasizing. I think even without once we get past this pandemic, I think the virtual open house, if we're having success from it, that should be something that we continue to do as we go along. So, but anybody that's listening that has positive experiences with the virtual open houses, where they actually got clients or got contracts, it would be really worth. Where are we? Delaney,
Okay, so
can you, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think you have 2 more answers, and I have 1 more question after that.
Okay.
That's been sent to me.
Delaney, can you address the open house issue?
Yes, I think the last few listings that I've had been in more rural areas, and one was occupied and was not interested, and we got offers very quickly. The other was another very rural area where I don't think it would have been beneficial. That one also got offers fairly quickly as well. Going forward, the listing, I've got pictures tomorrow, but it's going to rain, but I know she's not going to do an open house because we've done everything virtual thus far. I know she won't be comfortable with an open right now.
Okay. How about you, Brittany?
So the 2 listings I have under contract, one had been listed for a while, so we stopped doing open houses well before the quarantine. The other did not want to do any because they were the ones that did not want to have people in and out of their house. The one that I have coming up does not want to have any open houses, but I did suggest the virtual, which she was open to. And then the listing appointment, the next one I have is Saturday, so I'll let you know how that one goes.
Great. All right, Matthew, can you give us that question?
Yeah, I'm going to give you the question, but I just want to interject because I know that the feeling before I answer your question, because I've heard this a couple of times, we're not on the other side of the pandemic. We're still very much alive. So I don't want anybody to let their guards down because of it. We're on the other side of the fatalities increasing, which is great. And that's a whole different conversation. But all of these things are still important things, and they will be for a while. So take notes of those things. I love the answers you guys had. Okay, here's the other question I have. As succinctly and quickly as possible, what is the most important thing or advice you can give a brand new agent who's decided to get into the business in the middle of a pandemic? I did change the question a little bit to say in the middle of a pandemic, but what's the best advice you can give a new agent who's just getting started right now?
I think we said it. I think do your business planning, take as much, right now we have so much training, take as much training as possible, learn from your fellow agents, and just start talking to your sphere. I feel like all 4 of us are saying that same exact thing. And I think that all 4 of those things are so important.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
What Sarah said.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is like making sure that people are comfortable, especially because everything is still kind of up in the air. If you can give that reassurance to people, I feel like that would really attract them to you. And I mean, like you said, Sarah, taking courses, doing all the things, it's still possible to have business. I mean, we're all proof of that. It's not impossible. It's just how you do it and how you approach it, I think.
Awesome. Well,
Can I interject real quick?
sure.
So I always tell new agents that sometimes they feel that they can't sell themselves. They don't have enough experience. They can't say they've, have a certain business volume. But as a brand new agent, you can learn about the company and you can sell the company. So you've heard some of these agents today talk about that very fact, that the tools that we have, the resources, the staff, the backing that, that seller or that buyer is going to have, you can, until you grow your own business, use us, use the company. And, I would be hard pressed to find any agent in this company that wouldn't answer questions, that a new agent has. So don't be afraid to reach out to your managers, to reach out to the staff, to Deb, myself. We can help with some of those things to, it does seem like maybe you started in the middle of this crazy pandemic, but this is awesome. You've got time to figure all this stuff out so that, if and when things loosen up a little bit even more, you're just going to take off.
Hey, can I say something really fast for a new agent? I had the biggest self-doubt my first year licensed, and I totally used Coldwell Banker Lead's numbers. Like, this is what we do. I mean, you're part of the family, so use all of the tools and all of the numbers that are backed behind Coldwell Banker, because honestly, that's how I won my very first listing against a huge agent that has a team in the area. Was just the knowledge I had of what the company could offer and the numbers that the company does and the support that is behind you as a new agent. You're not going to know all the answers, but your broker will. If not, somebody else's broker will. Kevin will. You can call anybody. You just have to be hungry and go for it.
So Kevin, let me ask you this, and we should probably wrap it up. We might have to do a part 2 at some point, but talk about longevity in the business. And, you know, I just have to circle back the fact that you started this company 40 years ago, and we are stronger and better than ever. So you give some pearls of wisdom maybe to some of the new agents.
Well, I think it's proven over and over again that your motivation in this line of business is very important. If you're totally motivated by the dollar, you're not going to make it, because it will be obvious in decisions you make when you get into crucial situations. If you're motivated by satisfied customers, and I love to think of a satisfied customer is more important than the dollar, because it guarantees the dollar long run. And taking the long-term look on everything you do should really guide you, and you'll be successful as long as you do that. A good example, you know, you get a satisfied customer, maybe you don't make as much money or whatever, for whatever reason. It can even be a rental for that matter. You know, one of our top agents of all time in the company used to scald the rest of the agents for not doing rentals. And she would say, in all these years, she can't count the number of houses she sold to people that she started out helping in a rental. And it's all about building a relationship. And any opportunity you have to build a relationship, you don't build a relationship over money. You build a relationship over service and building a connection with people. And that is absolutely guarantees success long term. You know, what good is making $1 today if you're going to starve next month? You know, you need to have people that are out there that believe in you and trust you and send clients to you. And I think that's the philosophy of the company, whether it be with agents. It's the same thing. We treat agents in the same way. It's not for the dollar the company might make from an agent. It's the relationship we build and build a successful business. And as we go all these years, we've been successful. I don't think there's anything different than that for an individual agent. And, you know, I've seen examples of it with 2 agents coming in. I remember the first year in business, they both did fantastic because it was boom times. And then as time went on, one agent was all about the almighty dollar. The other agent was all about service. And that other agent kept doubling their income as they went down the way. And a couple of years, 2 years later, that the agent that did unbelievably well for a first-year agent was out of the business. So, you know, I don't think I can say any more than that to whether you're in the business 10 years or 10 months. That doesn't change. You'll be recognized for the service you give and the relationships you build, and that's the key to success as far as I'm concerned. But with that said, I would really like again to thank Stephanie, Delaney, Sarah, and Brittany. And wonderful job. And I hope everybody out there, we had, I'm not sure how many we had, but we had in the mid 50s. We
had about 70 most of the time.
70 most of the time. That was fantastic. And I hope all of you got some good ideas and good inspiration from these 4 great ladies. We have gone through this 4 months way better than I thought we ever would as a company. And we're still in the black. We're trucking right along, and it's thanks to you guys and all the other agents out there that have been helping us muddle our way through this mess. And I guarantee you, all of us will come out way better in the end, and probably be doing business differently. We will be better. I'll leave it at that. Thank you all, and you all have a good rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Thank you.